Elise Peters. Sadie Peters in the game and receives that ball on the left wing, looks, and will fire for three. That shot short, and it's the Norfolk Dreamers who come away with it. Oh, but that's Laurel Stewart who takes that ball away. And now Elise moves inside, and there's a takeaway, and it will be Dreamers basketball. The Dreamers going with Nicole Coombe, Kelsey Safety, Emma Hansen, Kayla Rast, and Regina Anderson. There's a drive to the basket, rolls around halfway down, and that follow shot is no good. She was fouled in the act of shooting. So it'll be Kelsey Safety, 5'11", player who goes to the basket. Her shot does not go down. She's at the line for a couple of free throws. First one is perfect. So our first score is in the tally book. It's 1-0 in favor of Norfolk. 7:21 to play, fourth quarter. Second free throw high. It rolls around and goes down. It's good. 2-0 favor of the Dreamers. 7:17 to play, first quarter. Elise Peters to Sadie, and she finds Elise underneath. Elise's shot, no good. Well executed play as far as finding the cutter going to the basket. Elise unable to get the shot up and in. Here goes the Dreamers to work. There they go inside. She's covered up and fires up a shot, no good. Bree Blankley gets that rebound. Bree controls the carom and dumps the ball off to Elise Peters. Elise finds Sadie on the wing. Sadie looks and goes cross court to Laurel Stewart. Laurel, a couple of dribbles, cut off in the middle. The ball is grabbed. That'll be a held ball. On the alternate possession, the ball will stay with Manhattan Chief. 6:38 to play. Chief trailing 2-0. 6:38 in our first quarter. Marissa Brooks slaps that ball. Looks, and goes up high. But it's taken away by the Dreamers. Here goes Nicole Coombe. She drives to the basket. Goes up and scores. 4-0. Here comes Elise Peters. Elise directing traffic. Bree Blankley on the baseline. Now Bree takes a dribble and goes to Laurel Stewart. Cross-court pass to Elise Peters. Elise turns down the three and dribbles to her right. Goes cross-court. Beyond her teammates. And it's out of bounds. It's a turnover. It is Norfolk Dreamers basketball. Nicole Coombe inbounds to Kelsey Safety. She stops and goes to the right wing. Pass along the baseline, drive along the baseline, splits a couple of defenders. That shot way offline, but she follows her shot and scores. That was Emma Hansen who followed her shot and scores. 6-0 in favor of Norfolk Dreamers here at ND2. Elise Peters goes to sister Sadie. Elise gets the ball back. She's harassed. Marissa Brooke with the ball up top of the key. Goes to Laurel Stewart. Laurel to Sadie. And ball back to Laurel. And foul is called. Foul will go against Nicole Coombe. And an early substitution with 5:24 to play in our first quarter. Regina Anderson takes a seat for the Dreamers. Marissa Brooke prepares to inbound. She looks, and goes into Laurel Stewart. Laurel goes back up top to Sadie, to Elise. They flash out onto Elise. Marissa goes to Bree Blankley. Blankley will fire. That shot does not draw iron, and it is the Dreamers who come away with it. Clearly carry the ball. No violation whistled there. Follow shot is no good. Third follow shot is up and in by Kayla Rast, and it is 8-0. That is a flagrant carry, as you'll see, but the officials chose to ignore it. And timeout is called by head coach Angie Peters. With 4:56 to play in the basketball game, it is Chief trailing 8-0. You're listening to Chief Basketball. Welcome back to McPherson, Kansas. Our first substitution of the night for Manhattan Chief. Alexis Steinbach in the game now for Manhattan Chief. And here comes Elise Peters. Elise tries to go inside to Bree Blankley. It's takeaway, and there's a jump stop and a pass along the sideline to the across the lane, and that basket is up and good. Fast break basket, easy points for the Norfolk Dreamers, not what head coach Angie Peters wants to see. 10-0 our score, 4:34 to play first quarter. Bree gets the shot, and Steinbach drives inside, bumped, and goes back to Bree. Bree fires, that shot no good. Bree follows her shot, tries to force it up, and a held ball is called. So alert, hustling defense by the Norfolk Dreamers. Here comes Norfolk leading 10-0, 4:19 to play. Cross-court pass, and there's a drive along the baseline. Ball out to the right side. Nice defense by Manhattan Chief. There's a shot thrown up that does not draw iron, and Elise Peters draws in that rebound. 10-0, 3:56 to play first quarter. Manhattan Chief need to find their way into the scoring column. Marissa Brooke receives that ball and is bumped. That foul will go against the Dreamers. 2 fouls have been called on each team now. And Regina Anderson comes right back in for the Norfolk Dreamers. Marissa Brooke looks, goes long to Steinbach. Elise Peters, always glad to see Elise handling the ball. That shot is perfect. Elise drives into the lane, throws up a floater that is good, right straight on to the basket. 10-2, Manhattan Chief gets into the scoring column with 3:31 to play in our first quarter. Dreamers dribbling along the perimeter. There's a shot, and the offensive boards are damaging Manhattan Chief. Another follow shot that is good by the Norfolk Dreamers. 12-2, 10-point lead for Norfolk with 3:06 to play first quarter. And it's been the offensive glass that have been most damaging for Manhattan Chief. Laurel Stewart receives the ball from Elise. Elise gets the ball back up top. Gets a screen from Bree Blankley. Steinbach covered up, looks, and goes back to Elise Peters. Elise finds Marissa Brooke. Marissa forces a shot up inside. It rattles around and good. She threw it up off the glass and down. 12-4, Manhattan Chief trailing with 2:37 to play first quarter. Here comes Safdie. She penetrates the three-point line, goes off the baseline. Shot along the baseline does not draw iron. Bree Blankley goes after that rebound and controls it. And there's, wow, tough defense. Elise Peters somehow got it away, and Bree Blankley somehow controlled that rebound. Now there's a breakaway to the other end. It's a fast break basket that is no good. Steinbach gets that basketball. She's harassed, and Elise Peters alertly gets that ball. Laurel Stewart receives that ball. She's cut off and goes back to Elise. Elise Peters will fire for three. That shot no good, and it is the Dreamers who come away with it. Steinbach hustles down court after the Dreamers player, but that shot is good, and timeout is called by the Norfolk Dreamers. So there's 1:48 to play in our first quarter. It is Norfolk who claim the early advantage, 14-4. You're listening to Chief Basketball. Welcome back to McPherson, Kansas, the beautiful gym at McPherson College. Manhattan Chief trail 14-4 with 1:40 to play in our first quarter. Nice play. Bree Blankley is covered up inside, and the ball is ripped away from her. There's a quick fast break to the other end of the court. She stops, pops, and scores. Too many offensive rebounds, too many fast break baskets for the Norfolk Dreamers. Dreamers lead 16-4 over Manhattan Chief with 1:21 to play in our first quarter. Steinbach looks at this defense, goes to Laurel Stewart on the left wing. Elise Peters open for three from the wing. That shot almost there. Bree Blankley fires. That shot rolls away, and it is Bree who controls the rebound. She's stuck under the backboard and throws the ball off the defender's ankle. It will stay with Manhattan Chief. So Manhattan Chief will keep the basketball. Annie Phillips coming in for Manhattan Chief, and Laurel Stewart will take a seat. Marissa Brook looks inbounds with 1:05 to play. Elise Peters gets that ball up high, goes to Annie Phillips, and goes to Marissa Brook. Marissa has to come to the ball. Oh, there's a tap takeaway. It's tapped away temporarily and then knocked out of bounds by Nicole Cum. Marissa Brook will inbound. 56.5 seconds to play, first quarter. Elise Peters looks over this defense. And there's a return pass from Marissa Brook, and Elise Peters is fouled as she tries to make a move to the basket. That foul goes against Kelsey Safdie. Kayla Rast back in the game. 46.8 seconds. Manhattan Chief trailing 16-4. Marissa Brook looks, goes to Annie Phillips, to Elise Peters, to Marissa Brook. Marissa will fire from the baseline. Oh, that shot looked good. She got her own rebound. And Elise Peters is cut off. Steinbach looks, and goes to Marissa Brook up high. Marissa to Elise Peters. Elise open for three. That shot no good. And it is the Dreamers who control the rebound. Heather Myers now in the game for the Dreamers. Nicole Cum brings the ball up court, starts work against Steinbach, gets a screen and goes to the baseline. That shot way short, but it is the Dreamers who got the rebound, and this time it was Annie Phillips who returned the favor, got a couple of hands on the basketball and created a held ball. 8.5 seconds. Elise Peters, the ball goes to Marissa Brook, back to Elise. 5 seconds. She takes an extra step with 2.9 seconds to play. They're feeling the pressure of the clock as it ran down, I'm sure. Ball's inbounded, quick pass. They're going to have to throw up a shot, but they do not get a shot away. So our first quarter is over. After our first quarter of action, it is the Norfolk Dreamers who lead over Manhattan Chief 16-4. You're listening to Chief Basketball.